What about this? Imagine if the smallest decisions you made, the ones you barely even notice, were secretly shaping your entire future. Not the big moments, not the promotions, the new jobs, or the lottery wins, but the tiny, almost invisible choices. One push up, one spoon less sugar in your coffee, one page of a book before bed. What if those tiny actions were more powerful than any big dramatic change you've ever tried to make? That's exactly what James Clear's Atomic Habits is about. And this isn't just theory, the man lived it. In this first video of our three-part series, we're going to unpack why small habits make a massive difference, how your identity drives your behavior, why systems are more powerful than goals, and the first step in building any habit, making it so obvious you can't ignore it. If you stick with me to the end, you'll have a plan you can start today. One that doesn't rely on motivation or willpower, but instead builds a structure where success happens almost automatically. James Clear's story, from tragedy to transformation. Let's rewind to the final day of James Clear's sophomore year in high school. He's on the baseball field, watching a classmate take a full swing at the ball. But in a split second, the bat slips from his teammate's hands and comes hurtling straight toward James's face. The impact is devastating. His nose shatters into a distorted U shape. The soft tissue of his brain slams into his skull. Both eye sockets break. His skull fractures. He doesn't even remember the moment it happened. Blood is pouring from his nose. Classmates rush over. A teacher walks him slowly to the nurse's office, no one realizing that every second matters. By the time he's in the nurse's chair, he's confused, giving wrong answers to simple questions. Minutes later, he collapses into unconsciousness. At the hospital, his body shuts down. He has his first seizure, then stops breathing. Doctors have to pump oxygen into him manually. They call a helicopter to take him to a bigger hospital in Cincinnati. There, the swelling in his brain is so severe that he's put into a medically induced coma and placed on a ventilator. The doctors can't even operate yet. His condition is too unstable. It's worth stopping here to imagine it. One day, you're a healthy teenager with dreams of playing professional baseball like your dad once did. The next, you're fighting to stay alive. When James finally wakes from the coma, he can barely move. His left eye is bulging from air pushed through the fractures in his skull. He can't drive for 8 months. He's in physical therapy, relearning basic motor skills. And when he finally returns to baseball a year later, he's cut from the varsity team. He ends up playing with the juniors while his peers move ahead. For a lot of people, that might have been the end of the story. But for James, it was the beginning of something bigger. He started rebuilding, not with huge leaps, but with the tiniest of habits. Going to bed early when friends stayed up, keeping his dorm room tidy when others let theirs get messy, lifting weights consistently, even with no immediate results. Over time, those tiny habits stacked. By his senior year of college, he was team captain, set school records, was named top male athlete, and made the ESPN Academic All-America team. The important thing? There was no single magic moment. It was slow, consistent improvement. Tiny wins compounded over years. Action step for you. Think about one area in your life you want to improve. Don't ask, what's the fastest way? Ask, what's the smallest step I can take today that I can repeat tomorrow? The British cycling story, the power of 1%. Now let's zoom out to a national scale. In 2003, British professional cycling was, let's be honest, a disaster. One gold medal in nearly 100 years. No wins in the Tour de France. In fact, some bike manufacturers refused to sell to them, worried it would damage their brand if people saw their bikes losing races. Then Dave Brailsford took over as performance director. His philosophy? The aggregation of marginal gains. It meant finding 1% improvements everywhere, no matter how small. They redesigned bike seats for comfort, rubbed alcohol on tires for better grip, used heated shorts to keep muscles at the ideal temperature, tested fabrics in wind tunnels, and switched to more aerodynamic suits. But here's the genius. They looked beyond the race itself. They customized mattresses and pillows for each rider for better sleep. Painted the inside of the truck white, so any dust, which could harm bike performance, would be visible. They even taught riders the best way to wash their hands to avoid illness. The result? 2008 Beijing Olympics, 60% of all gold medals in cycling. 2012 London Olympics, 9 Olympic records, 7 world records. Tour de France, won 5 times in 6 years. That's what happens when you compound dozens of tiny gains. Action step for you. Pick one area: your fitness, your work, your relationships. List 5 possible 1% improvements you could make. Then commit to one this week. Habits as compound interest. James Clear compares habits to compound interest. Just as money multiplies when you reinvest it, the effects of your habits multiply when you repeat them. If you improve by 1% daily for a year, you end up 37 times better. If you decline 1% daily, you're almost at zero. The tricky part is that bad habits compound too. Eating poorly once doesn't hurt much, but repeat it daily for years, and it's a different story. This is why James says you should care more about trajectory than current results. If your habits are moving you forward, even slowly, you're on the right path. If they're moving you backward, it doesn't matter how good things look right now. The future will catch up. Action step. Ask. If I kept doing exactly what I'm doing now for the next 5 years, where would I end up? Like the answer? Keep going. Don't like it? Change the system. The plateau of latent potential. Here's why people often quit before their habits pay off. The results are delayed. James uses the ice cube example. A room at 25 degrees Fahrenheit is too cold to melt ice. You heat it to 26, 27, 28, still nothing. Then at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, the ice suddenly melts. That last degree seems to cause the change, but it was the gradual warming that made it possible. He also points to bamboo, which grows underground for years before shooting up dramatically. When you start a new habit, you enter what he calls the valley of disappointment. You expect quick results, but the progress is invisible. Many people quit here, never realizing they were just a few degrees away from breakthrough. Action step. If you feel stuck, remind yourself, your efforts are being stored like energy building up. Keep going until you hit your 32-degree moment. Forget goals. Focus on systems. Goals are fine for setting direction, but systems are what drive progress. Think about it. Every Olympian wants gold. Every job candidate wants the role. Goals don't separate winners from losers. Systems do. A goal is a destination. A system is the process that gets you there and keeps you going. Goal, run a marathon. System, your training plan, diet, recovery routine. Goal, grow a business. System, your marketing process, hiring, product development. The danger with goals, you can hit them, then slide back. Systems are built for sustainability. Action step, replace I want to achieve X with I want to build a system that makes X inevitable. Identity-based habits. Most people start with outcomes. I want to lose weight or processes. I'll go to the gym. The deepest change comes from identity. I am a healthy person. Your identity drives your actions. If you believe you're the kind of person who never misses workouts, that belief will guide your choices. Every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. You don't need to win every vote, but the more votes in one direction, the stronger your identity becomes. Action step. Decide who you want to be. Then ask, what small habit proves I'm that person? The 4 laws of behavior change. Habits follow a loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. From this, James creates the 4 laws. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it satisfying. Let's focus on the first. Make it obvious. Make it obvious. You can't act on a habit if you never notice the cue. Habit stacking. Attach a new habit to an existing one. After I brush my teeth, I'll floss one tooth. That's so small, it's hard to skip. Implementation intentions. Be specific. When, where, and how. Not I'll read more, but I'll read for 10 minutes at 8 p.m. on the couch. Environment design. Shape your surroundings so the right actions are obvious. Want to eat fruit? Put it on the counter. Want to play guitar? Keep it in the middle of the room. Motivation is overrated. Willpower fades. Environment is constant. If you want to watch less TV, unplug it after use. If you want to check your phone less, leave it in another room during work. Make the right choice, the easy choice. Closing recap. Today we covered the power of tiny gains, why trajectory matters more than current results, the plateau of latent potential, why systems beat goals, how identity shapes habits, the first law, make it obvious. In part 2, we'll dive into the second law, make it attractive, the third law, make it easy. We'll turn habits into something you actually want to do and make them so simple they're hard to avoid.